1-866-929-1950. Remember, 1-866-929-1950. Rates and availability may vary by state. Sample rate quotes for preferred non-tobacco underwriting. Exam required to qualify.
Football season never ends on Talk Football with Coach K.
Stidham is tearing it up at New England. He may well be the incumbent to Tom Brady there.
Former head coach of the Buffalo Bills, Coach K brings his expertise as he breaks down the game, the players, the coaches, and the front office. Plus, high-profile interviews from the biggest names in football. Talk Football with Coach K every weekday from noon till 1 on ESPN Pensacola 1330 FM 99.1.
Let's face it, in life, there is no free lunch.
Are you prepared? Do you have a plan?
Who can you trust?
You can trust the NFCC, the nation's largest nonprofit network of credit counseling and financial education organizations. Our certified professionals will help you learn basic financial skills and give you the tools to meet financial challenges with confidence. Come learn with us at nfcc.org.
It's your money. Get smart about it.
A public service from the NFCC.
The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
First Take, your take on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, and ESPN News. I'm Jason Fitz. Let's get you started with headlines you need to know. The Astros have spoken. Houston Astros players Alex Bregman and Jose Altuve on Thursday apologized in brief statements for their roles in the team's sign-stealing scheme in 2017. The players made available at a news conference as the Astros opened spring training in West Palm Beach, Florida. Here's a little of what Bregman had to say.
I have some brief remarks that I'd like to share with y'all. I am really sorry about the choices that were made by my team, by the organization, and by me. I've learned from this, and I hope to regain the trust of baseball fans. I would also like to thank the Astros fans for all of their support. We as a team are totally focused on moving forward to the 2020 season. Thank you.
Golly gee, guys, he's sorry, and he means it, even though nobody's answered any real questions. In the meantime, the next headline you need: former NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick will release a memoir sometime this year through a company he's founded called Kaepernick Publishing. Audible will release an audio version of the memoir. His quote: "I want to tell the story of my evolution and the events that led me to protest systematic."
The following has been produced by Talk Football LLC. Former Florida Gators quarterback, NFL quarterback, and NFL head coach. Coach K. Stevenson has a resume second to none, and now he's sharing his insider information with you. Talk Football with Coach K starts right now on ESPN Pensacola.
And welcome into Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you alongside former NFL coach K. Stevenson. Sorry about that, a little malfunction here, Coach, but we're back on track now.
Oh yeah, we've got it all handled. No step for a stepper, huh?
Absolutely. Well, Coach, we got a lot to talk about today, as usual here when it comes to football down in the South. A couple of things that I want to talk about to start off with. Jameis Winston underwent LASIK eye surgery for his nearsightedness. Now, Coach, look, he's had this problem before, even at FSU. You saw cameras that would pan over to him, and they would see him squinting, things like that. Bruce Arians came out and said, listen, he can see the guys in front of him. He just can't see the scoreboard. Kind of in a chuckling manner right there. Interesting here for Jameis. A lot of people joking around saying, well, he's got the 30-30 vision, But for Jameis Winston, I think maybe this will help you. I don't know. I mean, we don't know the extent of this. I think it's good for him. Fix your nearsightedness. If it was a problem, I can't imagine he wouldn't have gotten it fixed before if it affected his play, especially when you talk about the money and the level he plays at. But any thoughts on this, Coach?
Not really. I've not been privy to someone having LASIK surgery and how it turned out, so I don't want to comment too much on it. It could possibly help. I have my doubts, though, because we did things to improve vision an awful lot more than anybody in the league. In fact, other teams copied us. We had a special routine that we went through that was researched at the Cleveland Clinic on improving the eye muscles. There are muscles behind the eyes, and we train every muscle: the arms, the legs, the stomach, the core muscles. We train all the muscles in the body except the muscles behind the eyes that move the most important things in football, because you can't hit anything, you can't catch anything, you can't do anything unless you see it first. And then once you see it, then the sight transmits to the brain and directs the body to make that particular move to get to a certain place or to make a certain move, a certain football move. So it's very important, I say that. But having said all that, the expense that we went to, the time that we spent in camp and even in practice going through these drills to strengthen the eyes, I didn't see any noticeable improvement, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's interesting just because look, in college you've seen some of the backstage stuff they do as well for all the activities, whatever it may be, to sharpen your mind, your agility, all this other stuff. I think it's really interesting, though. For Jameis, hey, I hope it works out. I mean, we root for everybody to go out there and, be the best health. I'm interested to see if it's going to help him on the field or not. He's always had that gunslinger-type mentality, though.
Yeah, I really do hope it works for him. I just have
skeptical.
I'm skeptical as
right.
to whether, but at any rate, he's going through it. I don't blame him. If he has any doubt whatsoever about it, then he should do it.
Moving on to a couple other things here, Coach. We talked about Mel Tucker, of course, going to Michigan State. It came out now. He over doubled his salary, leaving Colorado to go to Michigan State. So that's a pretty good reason there. Of course, he's facing a lot of backlash now. What we talked about, he posts the message of, I'm not going anywhere, this is my home, all this other stuff. Literally 24 hours later, he signs that deal, and people aren't mad at him for leaving. They get the whole leaving part, but we've seen this before with guys. Don't press send, basically what it comes down to here. But you mentioned a good point yesterday. It could have been a lot of pressure from the University of Colorado as well when you talk about recruits and everything, which it doesn't make it right, but it does bring a different aspect into this whole thing here. Just any other thoughts on this?
Yeah, common sense would tell you, whether you're in a business or anything else and you have key people, that you have to know what's getting ready to transpire as far as whether you're going to be able to keep those people, they're going to leave, or whether there's a huge trauma in their life or anything that might affect your product, meaning in this case your football team at Colorado. It's huge that you get these recruits in and they commit and they sign there. Okay, I just don't doubt that they probably have, because word spreads quickly when colleges are looking at coaches or whatever. They know behind the scenes, and these agents know, and they pass the word around, and so it's no secret. But I'm sure they had heard that he might be in line for that job, maybe offered that job, and I'm sure they went to him and said, "Look, for the sake of the school and what we've done here, we want to leave with a good, a good word from us or whatever, so we don't hurt you in any way. Please make sure that we get these people signed." And how do you do that? If somebody's asked you to do that, then it means a lot to you and to them. You say you may what he was enticed to do, if that's the case. What he was enticed to do and what he did was he was coerced into telling a lie, lying about the future to make that happen. That is a possible scenario. I'm not saying it happened. A lot of things we talk about here, they are possible scenarios in sports, and we look at a lot of different possibilities, the possibility of trades, possibility of somebody going to one team or another, or the possibility of a coach leaving or whatever. We will do that, and we'll continue to do that, because what we do is we have maybe a little inside information, and from experience, having been in the industry, there's certain things that we have a feel for that maybe some other people don't, and we want to pass that along. But we always pass it along that if we don't know for sure, if we know for sure, we'll tell you. But if we don't know for sure, we'll always say it's a possibility. It could happen. We're not saying it's going to happen, but you may be interested in this scenario, and that fits the case.
Well, the one thing is, I think, Coach, when I look at it, and correct me if I'm wrong on this in my opinion here, but Matt Rule, the way he did it, and I understand it's perfect storm of the way things worked out, but for Matt Rule, he came out and he told his players, he said, listen, right now I'm not talking to anybody. Then when NFL coaches or NFL teams were looking at him, he said, hey, look, all right, I'm just letting you guys know up front, I'm going to talk to these people. Nothing's done yet, but they do want to talk to me, and I'm going to talk to them. He was up front with them. Now, people were like, what are you doing, at the time? Now we look at it, and we're like, wow, that was an honorable thing to do for him. And then when he got, of course, the players prepare themselves in that retrospect, but you have more respect for a guy to do that. I understand maybe it can't happen all the time, but that to me seems like the way this should go out, especially when you're talking about guys. These players on this team, they're also human beings. They made decisions based on you as well, like we were talking about with recruits or whatever it may be. There may have been guys that if Mel Tucker wasn't going to be there because they knew he was brought in to rebuild this program, that maybe they were going to go somewhere else and enter the transfer portal. Maybe they were going to go ahead and make plans ahead of time. And now with this late leaving like this with him, it changes things, a lot of things for a lot of people. And for these guys that sign the NCAA, of course, we'll have to let them leave. They'll have to make amends for some of this stuff. Interested to see how that works out. But I think it will. But regardless, Coach, I think that Matt Rule did it the right way, that I believe this should be done. Do you feel the same way, or what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on that, certainly. But I will say this. I think I think there also is a place where you could say nothing, because you don't have to tell people everything you're going to do, and that's not lying. That's just keeping your business to yourself. And now, if you're asked point blank, and be in a position there. But at any rate, I understand we got a call coming in, and so let's see what's going on.
850-623-1330 is our line. Caller, who's this?
Hey, Coach. Hey, Jeff. This is Jonah. How y'all doing?
Hello, Jonah. How are you?
Hey,
how
Jonah.
Are you doing?
Hey, so I'll be quick. This discussion about the Colorado coach going to Michigan State, I'm not sure if either of you have you ever seen the show South Park before?
I have, yes.
No, I have not.
Coach, okay, so to give you a preface as to what the show is, it gives a satirical take on American society, and they happen to live in Colorado. and they did an episode on the idea of a student athlete, and they did a specific thing in the University of Colorado, and they made a note of what it means to be a student athlete. And essentially, they compared them to people that work for no money, slaves, if you will. Now, when we talk about this situation with this coach winning double his money in Michigan State, awesome. Congratulations. But you brought this point up yesterday, Coach. These kids have committed. I'm not sure if the letter of intent signifies they have to go to school or not, because financial aid has to do with that as well. But they've committed 4 years, 3 to 4 years of the rest of their college career to go to this place and possibly play for this coach. And all he had to do was tell them something, anything. Hey, I may not be here. This may not be where you want to go. Unless they're wanting to go to UC Boulder, that's a different story. I just feel it sets some of these kids up for failure, and it's not fair to them. And it treats them like second-class citizens that NCAA kind of views them as. These coaches make all this money, but they're not required to go be along the same stipulations that these students have. And that's my take. I'm wanting to see what y'all thought about that. Have a good day.
Okay, John, thank you, and understand how. But that's quite you said quite a lot there. You've encompassed an awful lot in college football, the future college football, really. Let me say this. I think that a lot of these kids, most of these kids maybe, I should even go that far. I would say most of these kids don't really choose a school. They choose the program and the people that they want to be around. Usually, the coaches, by doing a great job of recruiting, get a closeness with the players, and the players will go to a school because they're sold on the head coach and the coaching staff and what they do there, and they win, and there are a lot of other reasons, obviously. But if they can't go to an Alabama or an Ohio State or LSU or someplace like that, they go to they usually go to a school for the people that are around there. They're recruited highly and recruited well. So you have to remember that now. If they're recruited and they get down to the last day and they sign with the school because of the people, and the people leave, there's something inherently wrong with that. We all understand. But now we'll say, well, what is the solution? What's the remedy? Most schools have, in that particular situation, have allowed the people to transfer. And they transfer at no cost in the way of eligibility, meaning they can move immediately to another school that would offer them the same thing, and they could play immediately. So that's one way to look at it. I really feel that one of the things that Jonah said, we could get into this. I won't get into it heavily because we could go all week on it. But these athletes, for people to continue to say that they're slaves and they work for nothing, is blind. Really, that's blind talk. And I put myself in this situation. I know coming along as a youngster, had it not been a football scholarship not been available, now I was fortunate I could have signed pro baseball, but I had a choice. It was a tough choice, but I chose college football. But it would have been very, very difficult to think about going to college and getting a college education had that not been available. So that was extremely valuable to me. Now, this is everything. Keep in mind, how many kids going to college, how many families would like to think, hey, my child can go to college. They don't have any tuition to pay, books, anything they need in the way of supplies, a place to live, food, an environment of discipline, and people who are going to look out for their welfare and for their grades. and it's not going to cost me anything. Now, what would that? Do you realize how many people in this country, what they would be thinking if somebody called that slave labor? That's not slave labor. Plus the fact that they're being given a stage to display their talents, which may, very few of them do, but which may lead to maybe some other things in their sport professionally, or certainly would enhance them if they produce and conduct themselves properly, would give them an entree into other opportunities after they graduate from college. It may not be sports, but it may be because they participated, they played well, their name is known, and they're good people, and the owner of a business likes them. They get an outstanding opportunity that maybe somebody else would. So please don't think that college athletes are anywhere near slave labor. They're not. And if we continue to push on pay for college players, we're going to ruin the sport. We won't have college football.
Well, and Coach, a lot of good points there. When I look at this, is it goes back to when you look at the Mel Tucker situation, he simply didn't do it the right way. I mean, I get leaving for more money, that's your livelihood, whatever it may be. I'm not going to fault a guy for that. I mean, if you have an opportunity to go make double your salary, well, it's hard to say no. But the way he went about that is wrong. I go back to, in a perfect world, I believe it should wait. What Matt Rule did is the proper way to do this. Now, when we talk about athletes, look, I played small college. Of course, I went here to UWF for a year or so and played baseball here, and then transferred to the University of Mobile and played. Now, University of Mobile is a NAIA school, a small school there. So I didn't get the Division I that a lot of these guys do. I had friends that went and played at Florida State, at LSU's and things like that. What they got was awesome. I mean, and they didn't go on full scholarships. They still had to pay a little bit, but still the way they got treated with the meals and the athletic wear and the way they took care of them, their room and board and their health. Look, I can tell you just from going to the University of Mobile, I got to go to the chiropractor 3 times a week. I was required to as a pitcher. We were required to go see the chiropractor, team chiropractor, 3 times a week, which would cost people. I didn't realize this, of course, in college. Money, you don't realize how much things cost till you get on your own. But, my father goes to the chiropractor, and it's an arm and a leg to get that stuff like this done. You get all this medical help. They put you in the best situation possible. I get that not every story is the same. And when I look at this, Coach, the players, the pay the player thing, people are like, well, the schools are making all this money. I do understand that. They are making a lot of money. But at the same time, if we don't agree with this, if you think that what the schools are doing is wrong, then guess what? Quit buying the tickets. Quit supporting it. Quit going to these games and doing these things here. If you don't support what they're doing, then don't pay for these tickets. Don't pay this outrageous amount to do this kind of stuff. That's the first thing to me. Second, if you really want to pay people, my thing to this is I understand, we brought up Tua, what Tua did for Alabama, jersey sales, whatever it may be. I get all that. Coach, a offensive lineman is never going to sell more jerseys than probably most people on that team. The kicker may sell more jerseys than an offensive lineman. So you got all these guys, what I'm getting to, who protects the quarterback? Who makes this tick? It all starts with the offensive line. If you have a bad offensive line, you see it in every sport, no matter if it's high school, college, or the NFL, or now the XFL, you are never going to succeed here. If you really want to pay people, which I'm not for it, but I get it. I'm not going to fight. I don't have a say in it anyway, but it needs to be an even amount of money for everybody distributed if you're going to do this, because if you start paying the quarterback that amount of money and the offensive line is getting nothing, or they're getting a small payment here or whatever it may be, this is going to lead to a tremendous amount of trouble. Not only that, though, what about these small schools? This is going to ruin these guys who are losing money on their football programs already.
Jeff, we could talk about this all day today, tomorrow, and all next week. And they're going to be differing opinions on it. But here's the deal. Very few D1 schools are making money. People don't realize that. They think there's all this money there. And you got umpteen sports you have to support, and libraries and other things that this money goes for. People don't realize that. But there are very few schools that are in the black. Most of them are in the red. So,
yeah.
Where does it come from? So, anyway, we could go on and on about that.
Yeah.
But we need to get on with a lot of other things here.
Absolutely. Well, listen, we're up against a break right now. When we come back, we've got some XFL news, some more NFL news, and Brady and the Patriots, interested to see if they've talked yet. Well, make sure you tune in. We'll be right back. You're listening to Talk Football with Coach K here on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 991 FM.
Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Sometimes your bank, your family, and your friends love you, but they don't have the money to help you. Sometimes we have chances to make money, but the old saying, you've got to have money to make money, rings true. At Pensacola Specialty Pond, we can help. If you have trucks, heavy equipment, airplanes, boats, jet skis, anything with value, Pensacola Specialty Pond can loan you that short-term money you need. No credit checks, and at Pensacola Specialty Pond, you're going to find the money and the discretion you need.
Now at 6428 Pensacola Boulevard, north of Car City. Call 432-9050, 432-9050.
The Starlight Lounge presents An Evening with the Progressive Bucks.
Oh, what a great audience. Let's dim the lights for this next one. Nope, too much. There it is. Gotta get things just right. Like Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Tell us what you want to pay, and we help you find coverage options that fit your budget. And now, the mood is right. Wait, the lights are back on again. Trudy, can you? And now it's completely dark.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Wendy's has been showing everyone how to do fast food right for 50 years. And now they're showing them how 2 for $5s are done with Wendy's 2 for $5. It's the only one where you can get Wendy's fresh, never frozen beef and that Wendy's spicy chicken you crave. Pick 2 for $5. Choose between the juicy Dave Single, the tasty spicy chicken sandwich, 10-piece crispy, or spicy nuggets. Come in today and taste how a real 2 for $5 is done. Only at Wendy's. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada. Price and participation may vary for a limited time only.
His football career started as a quarterback at Pensacola High. It culminated as the coach of the Buffalo Bills. Now, Coach K. Stevenson talks football every day at noon on Talk Football with Coach K.
Kareem Hunt got pulled over last week for speeding.
This guy's been in trouble over and over and over again. Now, if they get him out of this, he will get in trouble again.
Noon to 1, weekdays on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
You can watch Coach K talk football live right now on our YouTube channel at ESPN Pensacola 1330.
And welcome back to Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you, alongside former NFL coach K. Stevenson. We appreciate Jonah with the call there. Always a good call, and always good to hear from Jonah. We hear from him on the Sports Drive as well. By the way, the line, studio, call or text. Remember, 850-623-1330. We'd love to hear what's on your mind. Coach, moving on to a couple things we got going on now. Well, the Bengals are working to help give Andy Dalton a good trade. I know this may not be news to a lot of people, but I think it's a good move for the Bengals as well. Andy Dalton has been there forever for him. He has suffered through, whatever you want to call it with Marvin Lewis and everything, just some average teams. I don't think Andy Dalton's a bad quarterback. I think he's been in a bad situation there. I'm not saying he's an elite quarterback by any means, but I think he could go somewhere and give somebody a chance to win. Now, not saying Super Bowl, but just he's a very competitive quarterback in that. I like that the Bengals are actually helping to try to find him a trade that works for them, and it doesn't just send him off to a team that is a wreck right now. And for the Bengals, of course, it all works out. But at the same time, Andy Dalton, that's my question to you, Coach. Is this a guy that could go help a team maybe win 10 games?
I don't know. I'd hate to put a number on Andy Dalton. He's just I would consider above average quarterback. What does average mean in the National Football League? There's still pretty good quarterbacks that are average. So he can play, and he can. He's proven that he can play in the National Football League. Could he go help a team? Yes. Now, help means different things to different teams. There's some teams out there that, talent-wise and coaching and put it all together, and they're probably not capable of winning 4 or 5 games. That he may be able to go help win 6 or 7. Okay.
Right.
So would that be good? Yet probably help them. May keep coaches their jobs. May provide some hope for the future. May provide a young quarterback some guidance. So could he help a team? Probably yes. But he's not going to go be the savior, and he's not going to go pull a team out of the doldrums and put them in the Super Bowl. He's not that type quarterback. But with his experience, he could help a team.
He's a type that, Coach, when I look at it, a perfect scenario for him is a team where they can be competitive, but a team that needs to draft a young quarterback right now for their future, he can go in there and fill a void for a year or so and keep them afloat. And that way the younger quarterback can also learn the ropes and do what he needs to do and get that time underneath him. A couple other things here. Randy Shannon, UCF defensive coordinator, now highest paid assistant in Group of 5, now making $1 million. Not news for a lot of people. Of course, Chad didn't even realize Randy Shannon was still around for him. But anyway, another thing, I don't want to spend much time on that. Sean McVay, this is a coach now with the Rams, youngest head coach in the NFL. He comes in his first year. They go to the Super Bowl. They lose, of course, to the Patriots. Says he's more rejuvenated and reinvigorated than ever. Now, that can mean a lot of things. Coach, my question to you, with Sean McVay, after seeing from year 1 to year 2, with what they did, the complete difference of everything, was that coaching or was it the players on the field? Who has more to blame with the Rams this past year?
Whether it's more to blame or more to compliment, it's usually a combination. It's always a combination of things, and this is certainly a great example of many, many other X factors coming into play. Now, when he first went there, I thought he did a wise thing, getting an older, experienced defensive coordinator who could also handle some of the issues that you run into, locker room and so on. And he had a good staff, and he did a good job too, very good job. He certainly brought Goff out of the doldrums and made the kid had a good year. But he maybe second year wasn't what they expected. But he's a good coach. I don't think I wouldn't want to say it's because of coaching or because of the players. They've got some good players now. Let me tell you, Gurley is a heck of a. I don't know whether his health is.
He seems off.
But if he's healthy, with he and Goff, if Goff is playing his game, they have some fair receivers. I'm sure they'll enhance that position.
You also have Aaron Donald on that defensive line.
They got Aaron Donald, and they've got some defensive people that can play. So they're a talented football team. They're going to be in the mix. They can't afford. I'll say this: if they have another year where it looks like they're considerably behind the leader in that division, meaning San Francisco, then questions will start coming up, and that could create some angst, if you will. You start getting a little tight, but we'll see what happens there. I project that they'll be a very, very strong contender in their division and be in pretty good shape.
Yeah, when I look at this, look, the Rams, you're right, Coach. I think Todd Gurley is a guy that they need to look. If he's not fully healthy or whatever, maybe shop him out. Who knows? It was interesting because this is not the dominant guy that we had seen in years before, but, of course, that knee injury continues to bother him. They got some good young backs behind him, Malcolm Brown and Darrell Henderson Jr. They're not ready right now. Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, and Brandon Cooks, that's three really, really good receivers when you look at it. They've got a good defense. It's interesting to see what this Rams team is going to be because they've shown that they can be really good. But with Sean McVay, I think the thing is with him, remember, this is a young coach here who was brought in to help rejuvenate a franchise. He did that the first year. Last year, they hiccuped a little bit. They're still in a better situation than they were before. That's the one thing I want people to remember with this. We always see it. A guy has a lot of success, and you just want more. You just crave more, more, more. Listen, I listen to some Alabama fans talk about Saban, winning 10 games or whatever it may be. They're like, well, if he loses to Auburn again, he's out. He can't do that. That's not going to happen.
Yeah,
it's like
crazy.
Just calm down. I mean,
yeah.
This is whatever. Anyway, Coach, moving on. Something interesting here. George Kittle is looking to be paid like a wide receiver. Now, right now, Jimmy Graham he's on a 3-year, $30 million contract, which is the highest paid tight end. Kittle's rumored to obviously to exceed that. Now, I'm going to break out or throw some stats at you, Coach. Past 2 years, Kittle has 173 receptions for 2,430 yards and 10 touchdowns. All right, the next two options, not one, next two, 165 receptions for 2,200 yards and 17 touchdowns. Coach, is Kittle worth being the highest paid tight end, or is Travis Kelce it? Well, regardless, I think Kittle needs to be paid more than Jimmy Graham. I mean, I understand this is not a competition and things, but Jimmy Graham was overpaid to me. Now, the tight end position, the reason I like Kittle so much, Coach, is a lot of reasons I like Travis Kelce. He is a down and dirty guy. He wants to block. He is a physical blocker when you talk about the tight end position. We see a lot of these tight ends that are almost receivers pretty much in the way they play. And when you need a blocking tight end, we've seen before, they bring a different guy in. Kittle is the whole package when you look at this. And I think stats like that speak for themselves on what he's meant to this team. But that's from the receiving aspect, not just the blocking aspect in their running game, which had a ton of success. And I will go back. They had 2 more yards per rush with him on the field than with him off.
Yeah, he's a good all-around tight end. I really like him. Great yard after the catch. Outstanding. But here's the deal. When you're where you're drafted, how long you've been playing, how many contracts you've had changes in contract negotiations. It has a lot to do with how long you've been around, too. But those all are big factors in how much somebody's being paid. I hate to hear I should be paid more because so-and-so is paid this. Well, so-and-so may have been drafted higher, may have been here 3-4 more years than you have. So he's had an extra contract a year, a contract to negotiate. There are reasons why he's being paid that. So if you're good enough and you have the longevity and stability in your play, then you will be paid. There's no doubt about that. But to want to base everything, now everything's based on so-and-so's making this, so I should be making that. In so many cases, it's just it's unbelievable. One other thing on that Rams, back to your Rams outlook, they do have some talented people, but so much of it depends on Gurley in that rushing game. If he's got to be healthy and force people to try to stop the run.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, Coach, because Gurley the year before was dominant in that play action. We talked about this with the Titans. You said, listen, really any quarterback off a play action, it's so much easier. That's where Goff coming into the league, it was perfect.
Yeah.
It was a perfect storm for him. It makes things so much easier. Same thing with Tannehill. We watched a guy in Tannehill who was below average, average at best, go to Tennessee, and he was one of the top quarterbacks for like 7 weeks when you look at the ratings and everything. And I think that's a good point. Gurley, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with him. It's going to be interesting to see what happens if he's healthy. You know they're going to keep him there because he is such a beloved figure in Los Angeles with the Rams as well.
Well, he's beloved because he's productive.
Absolutely.
And if he's not productive, he won't be loved very long. But if he is productive, you're exactly right. Not only do they have the great run game, which you have to have, but it makes their play action extremely deadly.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, we're up against a break real quick. When we come back, I've got some more Tom Brady news you want to hear, and Matt Stafford. Well, one team saying he's going to get traded, another saying no. Tune in. We got some news for you. You're listening to Talk Football with Coach K here on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Making Moves is brought to you by LinkedIn.
On winning teams, every player brings their unique strength that has an impact on the results. For Kevin McHale, that meant coming off the bench for the Boston Celtics. Of his almost 1,000 career games, he only started 400 of them. Yet McHale helped lead the Celtics to 3 NBA championships, played in 7 All-Star games, and was inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Build your winning team today. Go to linkedin.com/sports.
You wouldn't draft a point guard to play center, right? It's the same thing as when you're going to hire your next teammate. LinkedIn will match the right talent with your open roles fast. Post a job and you'll get great candidates with the right mix of skills, interests, and experience. So every hire you make is a win for your business. Go to linkedin.com/sports and get $50 off your first job post. That's linkedin.com/sports. linkedin.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply.
Locally owned Jackson Pace Pharmacy has exciting news for ED patients. Tadalafil, the FDA-approved generic for Cialis, is now here, and the cost savings are huge. Save 80% on the 20-milligram tablets, 30 tablets for $80, less than $3 a pill. A prescription from your doctor is required, so stop by Jackson Pace Pharmacy, 2256 West 9 Mile Road in Pensacola, and cash in on the savings today.
Hey, this is Chad Brillante from the Afternoon Sports Drive, and you're listening to Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Welcome back to Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you, alongside former NFL coach Kay Stevenson. Well, Coach, once again, it seems every day, but this is the biggest free agent we talk about here. Tom Brady and the Patriots have had no trade negotiations yet. Now, my question, I have a couple questions for you. Is this normal at this point? to have no trade negotiations for guys? Does it usually take a little bit longer when we get into this off season? And some people are saying, yeah, this is normal because they still got to close out their season. Well, Coach, my other question is, well, what do you do when you talk about closing out a season? We never hear about, once the season's over, what happens up until you get back to training camps and whatever it may be. Just kind of curious, what goes on?
Well, there are a ton of things that go on, but let me clarify one thing. There's no trade involved with Brady. He's a free agent. So they won't be negotiating with anybody as far as trade is concerned. That's all between Brady and whomever he decides to go with. My gosh, there's so many things that go on, JP, that it's tough to. We need
another show.
But let me throw out some things very quickly. One would be, in addition to just the normal bookkeeping things and so on that everybody would be aware of, mundane. But in addition to those types of things, there is the accounting with each player. Now that more and more teams are looking at an off-season program, training and conditioning and keeping some type core value. I mean, as far as their conditioning is concerned and their muscle structure and so on, that they have an individual program for each player. Some of them are very similar. Some would include heavy weightlifting. Others would not. Some would include even there's certain things they allow or want you to swim, and then there's certain other things that don't want swimming, don't recommend swimming. Okay, I mean, it's just amazing how you get down to that. Now, as far as coaches are concerned, and that has to do with trainers and your medical people and so on. As far as coaches are concerned, there's off-season. Number one is their whatever they're going to be called on to deal with player acquisition, rating players. Some teams have coaches look at them personally. Most all teams have them look at them on film, different players in their position, on tape, and then they make them. They give a coach's evaluation. Now, one thing you have to remember about coaches, this is interesting. Some are great coaches on the field, X's and O's, can get anything across, got a great rapport with their players, can get them to do anything, motivate them in many ways. But you wouldn't want them to put a talent grade on anybody because they don't know how to do that. I mean, they just don't have a good feel for evaluating talent. And I could name 2 or 3 guys I've had that I would never ask them for any talent grade because whatever they gave me, I know it was not worth anything. Now, so they're getting involved in that. All your self-scouting, looking at everything, looking at your division, scouting your division, scouting other teams that you think are doing things that you feel are certain defenses or offenses that you might want to employ some of that with your people. So you look at that and you break it down. You break it down to the nth degree in the off season, which you can do. You can't do that during the season. You don't have time. So there are a million different things you're doing. Your computer statistical drives and so on. I mean, like, what are you going to do as far as your self-scouting and your opponent scouting and your talent scouting and so on, and looking at any changes there that have either happened, that other teams have been successful with, or that are on the cusp, that are coming up. Do you want to change how you're doing certain things? There's so many things that you have to do that people don't realize that it really takes all your time. You try to give coaches in the off season, because they work so hard. They work 7 days a week, many hours a week. Typical work day goes from 6:30 or 7 to 2 or 3 o'clock the next morning. And that's just normal. If you hear about coaches sleeping in their office or on a couch somewhere in the building because you don't have time to get home, try to sleep, and get back. You might as well. That's 30 minutes on, 30 minutes. That's an hour you can grab of sleep. So you try to give them a little time off in the off season. Not they certainly get a vacation time, but just before going to camp. Usually that's in June or July. But then you get a day. You give a day here or there to rejuvenate. Let them go home at 5 o'clock like the normal people do. As much as you can. So those types of things that go on in the off season, and it's busy. Believe me, it's quite a task.
So what you're saying, Coach, is there is no off season when it really comes down to it.
There really is no off season as far as work is concerned. No.
Right.
Now it used to be years ago before all these different approaches to football. And before it was required, if you weren't gonna keep up with the Joneses, you were gonna get beat. That's what it amounted to. And quite frankly, there have been people that have been successful in college football that they go to pro football and you just get beat because they're not accustomed to, nor are they willing to put in that much time, put in that much work. They've got other things they want to do, which you can do in college. You can get away with that in college because the NCAA prohibits the amount of time that you can be with. So anyway, I won't get into all that right now. So,
no, I think it's interesting though because Coach, we don't hear about what goes on behind the scenes with all this stuff as well. Like I've had plenty of friends of mine ask me, well, what's happening now? Are these coaches, NFL? Because in college you're out recruiting and things like that right now, but for NFL, what do you do right now? I mean, what are they doing? Are they home? Are they off? Like what's going on? What has happened? Who's involved in the negotiations, whatever it may be. I think that was interesting. I mean, it was something that we don't ever hear about. We always hear about the players, and we hear about the coaches on the fields and things like that. Interesting little aspect there, Coach. That's why I asked you. You've been there. You've done that at the highest level. Some good takes there. But listen, we're up against a break. It'll be our last segment when we come back. We're going to talk a little bit about Matt Stafford. Is his time up or in Detroit, or what's going on there? And also the XFL. I want to bring a little XFL news to you. Week 2 is coming up, but this has nothing to do with the football side of it. You're listening to ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 991 FM.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
There's only one place in town for the lowest prices and greatest selection of firearms. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Visit our fully stocked Gun Pro Shop for new and used firearms, accessories, and ammunition. Check out the Indoor Shooting Range. We offer rentals on guns, including fully automatic machine guns and silencers. Ladies, this is the safe place to learn how to use a gun. Plus, Tuesday is Ladies' Day. Women shoot for half price all day. The best place to buy firearms in Pensacola. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Highway 29 in Car City.
Friends, let's talk about Daniel. A year ago, he resolved to stop putting off what he wanted to do, get into information technology. Daniel enrolled in My Computer Career and is now already a few months into his IT career. Make 2020 your year. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. You could start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. Classes meet on campus or live online just 2 times a week. It ain't rocket science. It's My Computer Career. MyComputerCareer.edu.
Redbox has the movies you've been waiting to see, starting at under $2 a night. Now available at the box and streaming on demand. Joker. Don't miss Joaquin Phoenix deliver a thrilling and unforgettable portrayal of Gotham City's most infamous villain. Rent the newest movies fresh from the theater at Redbox. Just head to one of the 41,000 Redbox locations or stream instantly on demand. Prices may vary by location, subject to applicable taxes. Additional terms at redbox.com.
What's up, Chad here from the Sports Drive. Well, hoops into full swing. Let's walk down memory lane. Like when Bob Costas called Michael Jordan's wife his mom.
Michael, surrounded by his mom, his wife. That wasn't fair, but I'm covered with champagne and can hardly see.
Yikes. Or Magic Johnson working with his business partner, Rob Pelinka. Best friends.
I wasn't having fun coming to work anymore, especially when I got to work beside you, knowing that you want my position.
And this coach so proud of his team.
Came down the offensive rebound. They got every offensive rebound. We didn't get one of them. What else do you want to know?
Sports Drive, 5 to 7 on ESPN Pensacola.
The greatest name in sports radio is ESPN. Wherever you have Alexa, you can hear ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Just say,
Alexa, enable ESPN Pensacola 1330 skill.
Coming up on Sports Call this Saturday, we are live from Bob Tyler Toyota from 11 to 1, same time as always. Also, the XFL is back. Let's recap that on Sports Call with Davis and Justin on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
the teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
And welcome back to Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you alongside former NFL coach Kay Stevenson. Got a couple minutes here, Coach. One thing I want to talk about, Matt Stafford. Now, it's been rumored today that the Lions are looking to trade him. Now, at that same aspect, a little bit later, the owner comes out and says, well, that's false. We're not going to trade him. I don't think it at this point.
We only got a short time, so let me just say this. Look, what are we getting? What are we not too far away from? The draft.
Right.
What have they got? Third pick.
Yep.
All right. It's worth a ton of equity. They've got a ton of equity in that pick. People could be moving up to with Tua. Some people now are saying Tua and Burrow are pretty much the same. Some people could be moving up for the pass rusher from Ohio State. Any number of things could be happening right there. So what do? They're right to put any type scenario out there, meaning, all right, we may trade Stafford. They can't say we may take one of those quarterbacks with the third pick if we've got Stafford, but we may be interested in trading Stafford. That being the case, we'd want to pick one of those quarterbacks. That way, it creates more value for teams wanting to move up.
Yeah, I think with Stafford, that's a good point. It's all about playing your cards right here. So interesting to see.
And they may want to trade him. I don't know, but that's the other is a distinct possibility.
Yeah, look, the Lions have not been good in a very long time, so it will be interesting. And I like Stafford. I think Stafford's a good quarterback. I'd like to see him go somewhere else. Maybe he can succeed a little bit or prove he can succeed. Regardless, Coach, we got about a minute and a half here. Just want to mention something. We'll talk about this more tomorrow as we'll have more XFL news for you. XFL article came out about embracing betting. Coach, look, 20 times more money was bet on the XFL in Week 1 than the AAF already. More was bet on the XFL than last week in the college basketball and most NBA bets, which I think is tremendous already.
Yeah.
They have these two apps. Of course, they have a Play XFL app and they have a regular app. You can get your news and whatever. I think it's really interesting. But one of the aspects of the betting, you can go on there and you can predict 3 scores. If you get the perfect scores, you win $500,000. Like things like that. They're reaching out to these people, which fantasy sports is so popular now.
That's a great idea. These are great ideas to create interest. And the other thing too that will really knock your socks off, they had more TV viewers by far than the big NBA doubleheader with the Lakers. It was hyped so much for weeks, or certainly days.
Right.
And they I guess they ate them alive. So goes to show you.
It's football. I think that's what it comes down to. Not only that, Coach, but I think when you look at what the XFL embracing this betting thing here, this is fantastic. I mean, people love it. Look, I play DraftKings and stuff as well. You get on there, especially the free contest, or you put a quarter in, you get whatever, just to play because just competing with it. People, and then these big-time gamblers, they love this kind of stuff. The sports books are exploding now with more football. That's what they want.
Sure.
I mean, you give people an opportunity to go out there and bet and gamble, they will. It's a fact, especially when you're talking about football. But, Coach, it's time's up already. Like I said, I want to get into more of this XFL stuff tomorrow. We'll get you prepared for the weekend ahead.
We'll give a little prediction on what we think may happen.
But, Coach, it's been a pleasure.
You bet. Look forward to tomorrow.
We appreciate you guys joining us today. Make sure you can always call or text our line at 850-623-1330. And listen, be back tomorrow at 12. We'll be here for Talk Football with Coach K as you're listening to ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM and 99.1 FM, the only local station that talks sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From Gullick and Wingo to the Sports Drive with Chad Brillante. Plus talk football.